Hey everyone, it's Timid. I'm back with with the first installment of season 5, I guess, of Road to 1K. So this is gonna be Road to 1200, Road to 1.2, whatever. Anyways, it's gonna start off. We're gonna be starting off with a pretty short match today. Unfortunately, there was another match. Well, actually, I'm gonna go. Where's the chat? Okay. Yeah, there's another match that I sort of wanted to show off earlier. Before this one, but unfortunately I don't know where the replay is for it, so we're gonna be stuck with this one, I think. Where is it? Yeah, so that's the one we did last time. This is the one that I sort of wanted to do, although it is only 11 days, actually, to be fair, so I'm assuming that's why I didn't bother saving it, actually, now that I look at it. Anyways, today's map is going to be on Lucifer, which is actually one of the main reasons I'm covering it, is because Lucifer is an S rank map. It is in Global League still. It's pretty well known and it's used overall time before. But yeah, it's a pretty old map. It's back from 2013, so very old. In that respect, and it's a very interesting map. I like it a good amount. I'm gonna let that load in the background for a second here to take a look, because it is. Oh, there we go. Yeah, like it actually does have a significant second turn advantage, which okay, there we go. That fixed it. Which it's like in thousands of plays, right? So this is a pretty significant STA, pretty well produced as well, and it's because it's a pretty small map, and having this infantry pretty close to the next base is a pretty good advantage. It's like 2 turns away, so you're going to be getting. It basically makes it so that the second player gets this base a turn earlier than the first player. So we're going to have I'd say about a 2-unit advantage overall. And in a smaller map like this, it does come out to being pretty significant. So it's 2% overall STA, which is interesting. You also can see the unit data on this map, actually. It's one of the maps that actually does have unit data. As you can see, melee infantry, tanks, battlecopters even on a small map like this with only 2 airports is sort of interesting. But as you can see, there's a lot of mountains in this area, so there's room for the battlecopters to dart in and out of the anti-air range. So building the battlecopter is a pretty good investment because it does force your opponent to go for the anti-air. And because the airport is like far back here, it does make it so that you're basically going to be guaranteed to hold on to that no matter what. So you don't need to worry about anti-air pushing up against your airport. As for what tier is this? It's tier 4, right? Tier 4. As for the CO, 50-50 on adder. So anything below 50 is like meh. So 50 is Jake, 41 on Jess, 38 on Cole, and 46 on Sonya. 46 is actually not as bad as I might have expected on Sonya for tier 4. Although to be fair, yeah, it's not actually as bad as I expected. But it is like a single comm tower map, so her defensive, she is like able to do something. It's a small single comm tower map, so actually this is more of a Sonya map than not. as far as tier 4 standard maps go. This one's pretty not bad. 38 for Grim though, obviously. Not the greatest there. But yeah, this is a pretty solid map. You got the missile silos in the back for decoration, I guess. And the thing that's interesting that I really like about a lot of these properties is they're very spaced out. They're pretty spaced out parts, so you're gonna have to send your infantry. You're gonna basically have to commit your infantry to going to this, going out of their way to grab this over there. This isn't a map that has really easy capture chains or anything like that. You have like one in the center here, and it's also a pretty contested one even, because your opponent can get into this area pretty quickly by the time you reach here. So overall, a really nice map. It's got HQs, yeah. So that's 34. Yeah, so 17k actually only day to day, which again, it's part of why Son is actually better than you would think on this map. But anyways, so yeah, I would say Adder and Jake are the top picks, obviously, for this match. Looks like Adder's picked a little bit more often, but yeah, we're both pretty good. Jake, because there are like so many properties in this map that are adjacent to 2 plane styles, it's like basically all of them, honestly. So Jake's powers do really well. Jake can wall break day to day, which is really nice against most of the properties. And yeah, superpower just pops up as well because it's a small map. So you don't really need the little power as much as you might think. And then Adder's like, he can spam his little power. He can wall break with it even, so really solid there as well. And then Sonya, I feel like live play on this with Sonya would be pretty good because your opponent can't remember. Well, your opponent would have to remember what their damage is on there, and because of the low income, it makes more scenarios where Sonya's going to be on like a one-on-one with tanks, so she's going to be able to just sit back and play defensively like she likes. Especially with her infantry, actually. But yeah, without any further ado, let's go ahead and get on with the replay. So yeah, so starting out here, we're getting pretty basic infantry builds. But yeah, that's pretty much enough said, right? Moving in sort of aggressively with the infantry here, but it's mainly to start getting towards this capture chain a little bit, at least as close as you can. Obviously, it doesn't really matter too much. I'd like to get this comm tower before the engagement start as well, ideally, but my opponent's going pretty aggressively. He got a pretty aggressive opening here with the recon here. I obviously didn't have enough to like really afford a tank that first day, so I didn't go for it. But I don't really, my infantry aren't like so far away from my base here yet that it's gonna end up making a difference here. So early recon, honestly, I don't think it's the play here though. So I've got the comm tower secured already. My opponent's gonna get his as well. So like it's not, we're pretty much neck and neck at this point. Looks like he's gonna be a little bit ahead in income actually here. Yeah, or at least for a little bit. I'm obviously going back for those properties now at this point, grabbing the airport as well. And I have the tank here to zone out his recon, basically chase it away from my units here. Because it can't really do much. Even if it goes for this guy, it's in range of this tank, so it's gonna have to fall back here. My opponent's getting a tank of his own now, and yeah, he's obviously falling back with the recon. Pretty good placement of it as well, because it's on the plains, meaning if I go for the kill on it, which I could do that. And, well, first of all, it wouldn't kill, because I'm Adder. And this isn't a road or anything, it's a plane, so obviously not going to be able to take that engagement. But I could go for the not kill, and then in response, he would get a really nice tank shot off here with the 20% here. So I'm obviously not going to do that. That was a misclick, right? Yeah, that was a misclick for sure. Getting a second tank off here, so I'm getting a bit of a tank chain here. Moving on to that tile because, like, I don't need to worry about it quite yet. But here I'm going to be able to stay on the city at least for a little bit here. So grabbing the cap there, basically taking out the recon. And then I've got a tank here, another tank to back it up. He doesn't really have a tank chain going, so I've got two tanks in this area. I've got a third on its way, so right now I'm looking pretty solid in this area. The only issue I've got right now is this recon here, which I believe I go for another tank here. Yeah, I base skip for it, because I would like to zone out this recon as much as I can here. So he goes for the shot there, which is, I mean, it's a decent shot. I'm not going to lie. He takes out my infantry using the day-to-day infantry firepower there, which is really good for him. Gets that first strike as well. So overall, he's like kind of destroying me at this point. Well, to an extent. Get the first strikes on both of these tanks, so overall pretty good here. Interrupt that cap with the weakened infantry because there's not much else I would be able to do. I've got 3 tanks in this area, so I've instantly, by getting the first strike here with that tank, I've taken control of this area. Quite substantially, actually. So, it was for a couple caps. We're tied on income at this point. Which is 15k, which is enough for a tank infantry for both of us at this point. He tries for the kill there, doesn't quite get it. This guy is actually being annoying and not letting me escape, which is kind of funny. So I take out that guy. I think I take out the... Oh, I take out the tank there. Okay. Pop side swip. So I get a really nice infantry push off here. Taking out like basically all of his infantry. Getting a first strike there, getting a first strike there. So side tilt coming in clutch with the infantry move. I've got 2 tanks in this area. This guy's sort of cut off base due to just the horde of infantry at this point. And he can't really do much with this recon. He could move in... Well, actually, no, he can't quite reach this tank. And because he's Jake, he's not going to be able to get the +1 in order to get there. So, oh well. But anyways, overall, right now, it's not like that big of a deal for either of us, I don't think. He's just going for shots here. I think he's going to be able to take out this tank, actually, with just infantry, possibly. Okay, not quite. Which is unfortunate for him, but I will take it. So, yeah, he does get an infantry kill there, but overall, right now I'm sitting pretty. Get a couple of shots off there and actually finish off with the infantry. Yep, and go for the cap. So, very good push right there, actually. And his battlecopter's out of range. Even if he somehow, by some miracle, was able to get enough for a block rack, he wouldn't be able to do much with this. Or with a recon, even. Falling back with my tanks here. Sort of fortifying this area. I believe this guy just fell back like there. Yeah. Just going behind the line and then beating an anti-air, tank, and infantry as well. So I had enough money for an anti-air at this point, which is good for me. He does have an artillery here, which Jake artillery isn't nothing to be sneezed at. Like, not bad. He moves in with the battlecopter and he goes for push into the infantry on the mountains. Interestingly, not going for the interrupt there. Even though he probably could have interrupted there. And then pushed past everything next turn, but that's neither here nor there. He gets a pretty good push here with all his infantry in this area. He's actually ahead 2 properties at this point, which is probably why he's not really caring about me flipping one of them. So I get one of them back. I tie up the income again. I actually secure this property as well. Moving in with the tanks there. So I do have infantry like sort of ready to cap at this point. More or less. Move in like this. I have a wall of tanks in this area, so taking out all of that basically. He's got the artillery, but it's sort of out of position right now. He's gonna got another tank moving in, but it's not like the end of the world for me. I try to go for some luck damage there, but it doesn't really work out, as you can see. And I go for the damage on the infantry, and also guard the harbor with that guy there. And I also have the infantry in range, so that if he goes for the capture here, I'll just take him out with the power even. Because I have infantry in range to do that. So he takes 2 shots here. He actually does get the luck for that because he's not attacking from plains. He does need to get lucky in order to do that. That's not guaranteed at all from the forests. Finishes off that tank there. He gets a really nice shot off there because it's plains into the road there. Takes out my tank there because I put him in range of 2 of his vehicles. It takes out a good number of my infantry as well here. So overall, things are looking like basically neck and neck. Lots of tanks and stuff, obviously. So I get the cap there, and then I pop my little power again in classic Adder fashion. I move in like that with the anti-air and everything in a manner so that I take out the anti-air. I take out the battlecopter, which is the main point of that. But then I've also got a pretty decent first strike against that tank. And I think I move in with this guy as well, so I've got a lot of tanks in this area too to move in. And I'm going to have a full health infantry here ideally on next turn. Can he get... Yeah, you can take out this guy, I think, which I think I might end up doing that. No, I just move in there. Okay. Interesting. I join cap, so now he has to deal with this guy. He's going to get block rock, so he can actually try to interrupt that with the recon if he wants. It's just going to be in range of my tank. Even with -1, with a normal day move on this tank, I can guard this infantry pretty consistently. I actually even have, it's only like 5 to get there, so. And he pops his super. So we're going to see an amazing block rock here. He takes out the tank entirely there. It's a really good first strike there. Honestly, if I were him, because I'm pretty sure, well, actually, no, I was going to say, if he was able to, he should have attacked from his planes, but he wasn't able to. That's why he didn't. But he's able to move in with the infantry there, take it out. And he's moving in very aggressively against my tanks in this area as well. I think he joined 2 tanks into that guy, actually. Yep. Which is very interesting. Even though he does have a pretty good spot to heal tanks from there, I'm not sure why he went for that one. I'm assuming it's for income reasons. If I had to guess, it would be because of income. He's got another battlecopter here as well. So I take out the recon there. Move in there, finish off that guy. Take out you. Take out you, and then I do the funny move here. And I start capping here. on his HQ with the infantry. So I finish off a couple more of his infantry, get a decent first strike against his artillery there, take a good shot off at his tank as well. I have another tank, so I can keep on moving in here. And yeah. So the genius about this play, right, is, well, we'll just see in a second. So he gets a good artillery shot off here. He tries to take out the infantry here. Oh, he does go for it. He does get it. So he gets the shot off there. I'm down to half health on this guy. And stays there with the battlecopter. So he manages to avert death for at least one turn here. Not bad at all. But as you will see here in a second, it's not going to save him. So I join cap there, pop another one of my little powers because I'm at her, and I just love popping them and just spamming them. So I'm able to have just enough move actually to take out this battlecopter. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Goodbye. And I'm in the forest as well, so I've got a decent defensive bonus against any like tank attacks there. And then I get a good amount of damage off there. So now he's sort of forced to attack into this infantry. So now I'm sort of forking him here. So I've got this guy here, which I'm going to be able to, if he doesn't interrupt this and he decides to keep playing, I can just take that property next turn. I'm already ahead in income a little bit. Of course, we're not at par quite yet because he can get that still, but and then I also move this guy in range of this. So if he does take out my infantry there, I can always join cap next turn still. And then I just block this city, get a good first strike off there, finish off him, finish off you. Get a first strike off there. That's not the best move there, honestly, but whatever. Mainly just doing as much damage to his infantry as I can at this point, and then go tank, 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 because I have the money for it. And it's his turn. And he pops his little power, actually, for the extra... Mainly it's because he really needs that extra field firepower there. And, like, he does interrupt for another turn here. He goes for the medium tank. So he's holding on for dear life at this point. He goes for the infantry shots into the tank there, but he's, like, never going to be able to take out a 4-health tank like that. He's honestly just weakening his infantry at this point. He could take out that guy, which he does. Especially with the extra field firepower. And he just decides to resign. Main reason he does is, well, I'm about to flip another one of his properties. Another 2 of his properties, actually. So I'm going to be ahead... I'm going to be ahead 1914, so 5k worth of income next turn, which is insane. He doesn't have any infantry in position to counter that, really. And the other thing is, I have the tanks in range to wipe out these 2 tanks, and I think I could just join cap this property next turn and win by capture anyways next turn. Because, well, let's just map it out real quick. So, leave this guy into this guy. Yeah, so he's gone. Then I'll have this guy into this guy, which will be about 50%. So to be fair, I might not take out this tank entirely. So it's like it'll be 50% plus whatever I can get from. Let's just do 4 for now. Oh, actually, it'll probably only be a 4. So this plus whatever I can get from the anti-air. So he'll be down to like 2 health, but this guy will be at to 10, so he'll be at full. Then I'll have 2 tanks there. I might even just put a tank there in front, or even in the woods or something. And like, what's his medium tank gonna be do? It's not gonna be able to do anything. Especially like capture wise against this guy. He can't build any air units, obviously. Well, I basically just captured a HQ at this point, and it's basically checkmate in 2 at this point, which usually doesn't happen, but interesting that it did happen this time. Partially, it's probably due to the extra, because I'm gonna say, like, even though Adder doesn't have any day-to-day abilities, just getting +1 move on every single one of your units in addition to the +10/10 is really good because, well, mainly because of the infantry move. It, like, 4 infantry move is like crazy good. It's super underrated. Even if that's all you get, like with Sammy, it's double time is still really good. But having it in conjunction with all of your units, so all your tanks, all of that stuff, pretty good. I think that my opponent probably should not have gone for the battlecopter. I mean, the battlecopter was a decent move, I would say, possibly, potentially, because it did give him a little bit of extra. Yeah, I think he built it like when you're supposed to build battlecopters, because you basically need to build battlecopters when you have an extra little bit of money on your opponent. So that you can get extra unit count, and that's sort of the effect of what happened is he got extra unit count. He forced me to build anti-air, which I couldn't necessarily really afford. Well, I was able to afford it because I had extra money, but that's neither here nor there. But yeah, that's basically it. I feel like he sort of just was. I was able to choke through this area, play around this little mountain pass area very effectively, to the point where I pushed in when it was advantageous, and then I pulled back when it was advantageous, so that I sort of drew him into attacking in range of this base, basically. Like a lot of these later turns, he's like right up next to my base, and I'm able to just keep on funneling tanks from my base into this area, even into this area. Like against Adder, he can get tanks all the way down here if he needs to with his power. Like, okay, hold on. I need to. But you get the idea, right? Is I'm able to move all the way down here if I want to or need to. Like, just being able, especially on a small map like this, having that extra +1 move on everyone is really, really insane. But yeah, I hope this was maybe a bit of a, well, honestly, this ended up being a bit more of a match than I first expected, so really fun match, actually. Now that I guess I misremembered how fun it was. But anyways, that's it for today. Did I have the... I believe I was at around... Where is it? Yeah, at 11:14 after this, so on my way to the 1200. But you know, it's a snail's pace. It wasn't exactly the Ecker is like I'd say a decent player because he's over 1K, but actually, what's his max? So I feel like he was maybe, no, he wasn't that high up there. Okay, 110.37. Like, that's not bad. It's pretty good. So this is sort of, I guess, beating up on a more level player. But it was an interesting match. You got the HQ cap, you got Lucifer. Like, Lucifer's an interesting map as well. So I guess if you enjoyed, go ahead and like and subscribe and all that other nonsense. And yeah, I will see you guys for the next one. Bye for now.